Picture this. A teenager looks their parents in the eye and they say, "I'm going to be a musician instead of going to college." And what do you think that they hear back? Almost always the same line. "Get your degree first because you're going to need a backup plan." And you know what? Parents aren't totally wrong because making a living with music, especially as an indie artist, it's tough. I mean, surveys show that the average indie musician makes only between $20,000 and $30,000 a year from music, and many have to juggle side jobs just to survive. But here's the part that parents may not know. It is possible to build a real career in music. Not everyone figures it out, but some do. Over the years, I've had conversations with artists who are making it work. They've cracked the code, and it's not by luck and it's not by going viral. It's actually by following a strategy. And in this video, I'm going to share that strategy with you. Think of it like a toolkit that you can use in 2025 and beyond to start earning more from your music, whether your dream is full-time or if you want to make it a powerful side hustle. Will you have to work harder than somebody taking a more traditional career path? Yeah, probably, but will it be worth it? Well, for most creatives that I've talked to that are making a living with their music, they say that if they had to go back, they would make the exact same choice. The average family income in the US in 2025 is around $80,000. So here's a thought. Even if you don't take a traditional path, say like getting a degree and becoming a music teacher in public schools, the question is, how can you earn at least $80,000 a year with your music? Hey, I'm Kevin, the founder of Innovaniac Music. We help indie artists grow and get heard and actually connect with fans in meaningful ways. If you're ready to stop guessing and start building momentum, you're in the right place. Before I share the philosophy that changed everything for some of the artists that I work with, let me ask you something. Do you believe that if you record a few great tracks and upload them to Spotify and get thousands of streams, then the money's going to start rolling in? If your answer is yes, I need you to hear this part clearly. The truth is tough. Streaming will never be your main source of income as an indie musician, period. The real path to income is gigs. It's variety. It's the opportunities that pay. Here's the core philosophy that I learned from experience and through friends in this industry. Always have 10 paying opportunities lined up and always be hustling for the next 10. That mindset changes everything. It's a hunter mentality. Let me break down why this makes sense. Streaming royalties sound nice in theory, but here's the reality. 1,000 streams? That's going to give you about $4. And if you don't hit that 1,000 stream threshold, Spotify won't even pay you. To earn $30,000? Which, let's be real, that still isn't enough to live comfortably in most places in 2025. You would need 6 to 10 million streams to do that. Did you hear me correctly? Millions of streams. And less than 1% of indie musicians ever even hit $10,000 from streaming in a year. So if you've been wondering why your music isn't making money, it's not because your songs aren't good. It's because you're leaning on the wrong revenue stream. Here's the kicker. Streaming isn't the product. It's the promotion. It's a tool to build your audience. Your songs, that's your brand. Streaming platforms, that's more like your storefront. But the money, that comes from the 10 other gigs that you line up. When you embrace this mindset, everything shifts. Suddenly you're not waiting on luck, you're building a strategy. So let's talk about the gigs. Because once you see how many different doors there really are, you're going to realize music can absolutely be a career. Now, I'm going to share a lot of revenue projections in this video, but keep in mind, nothing is guaranteed. This is info that I know from my personal experience and from friends of mine in the business and based on some of my own research. So to preface what I'm about to share, be sure you do your own research before making any decisions for your own path. So let's start with the obvious, which is playing live. Most artists imagine playing at a local dive bar, but there are so many ways to earn from live gigs. Yes, bars will pay bands and artists to perform, but also restaurants and festivals and other things. Solo acts or small groups can earn maybe $100 to $500 for one show. Also, smaller groups split that money less, so keep it lean. If you can do it on your own, even better. If you had 10 of these gigs monthly, we're talking $12,000 to $60,000 a year. What about weddings? This one's huge. A single wedding can pay $500 to $2,000. Sure, You're not playing your originals, but think of it this way. One wedding gig could equal the amount of maybe 1 million Spotify streams or more. Now, weddings may be less frequent and harder to line up, but if you could just play 4 of these gigs every year, that'd be between $2,000 and $8,000 annually. What about corporate events? Just like weddings, except often better paid. Now, admittedly, corporate gigs may be harder to line up, but if you could play 1 of these gigs every year, that'd be $1,000 to $10,000. And there's regional tours to consider. Even a short run of shows can give you exposure and consistent gig income, even if it's at bars and nightclubs. What if you played a tour for 3 weeks where you had a gig 6 out of 7 nights? That'd be like $1,800 to $9,000 per tour, minus expenses, of course. You've got gas and food and hotel. And think about it, busking. Yes, it still works. A good street performance could bring in $50 to $200 in a single afternoon. If you play 2 of these gigs each week, that's $5,000 to $21,000 a year. And you can do it in the afternoon before you play your show at night. Now, picture this. You perform live in a few of these settings. Suddenly the dollars add up, and you still have time for the other things that I'm going to share in a minute. Figure out what you'd be best at, what you're capable of, and do the math. How much could you make with live performances? Maybe it's more than you think. What if you can't go out and perform live for some reason? Well, there's other gig opportunities, of course. For example, teaching. Private lessons could bring in $50 to $100 an hour, and if you had 10 students once weekly, that's $39,000 a year. What about workshops or master classes? You could pull in $100 to $1,000 per event. And if you lined up 1 workshop each month, that'd be $1,000 to $12,000 annually. And what about instructional books or e-guides? You can sell these like on Amazon KDP, for example, or even your website. You could earn a couple, $200, $300 a month, and that would add up. And you could even make more, of course. Then there's like content-based teaching. You could do YouTube tutorials and Patreon classes, and subscription communities. Smaller creators can bring in $100 to $1,000 a month, and bigger ones, they can bring in way more than that. Teaching not only pays, it also positions you as an expert. That credibility feeds right back into your brand as an artist. I mean, how much could you make with teaching music? That could be the biggest portion of your income. But maybe teaching isn't your thing. Well, then let's talk about the studio. Because if you can produce or mix or record music, you've unlocked a whole new revenue source. Mixing and mastering can bring in $100 to $1,500 per track, or $100 to $500 for 1 hour. Some producers also negotiate royalty splits for long-term passive income. And if you lined up 1 mix and master client a week, that could bring in between $5,000 and $78,000 a year. And what about beat sales? Well, it's a huge market, especially in hip-hop and R&B and pop and other genres. Platforms like BeatStars, Airbit, and TrackTrain make it easy to start. Non-exclusive beats, they usually sell for maybe $20 to $200 each. These can be sold multiple times to different artists. So if you sold 100 beats in a year, that'd bring in somewhere from $2,000 to $20,000. What about session work? Singing or playing on someone else's track? I'm talking $100 to $1,000 per session. And networking and consistency is the key here. It takes time to get the connections, but what if you eventually sat in on 1 session a week? You could make anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 doing that. And then there's mobile recording and home studio gigs. You could set up to record bands or artists. $200 to $2,000 per project, or hourly rates of $50 or more for studio space. So if the recording process is your thing, and if you had 1 project each month, that type of work could land you $2,400 to $24,000 a year. And here's the bonus. Every time you sharpen these skills for others, your own music gets better too. Maybe you can do live performance, maybe you can teach, maybe you can get into the studio work. And here's one other thing. Don't sleep on the merch. And here's why. A $3 shirt that you sell for $25 at a gig can easily outperform your performance fee. I've had nights in the past where merch sales were 10 times what my band got paid to play. And merch doesn't stop at t-shirts. You could do signed physical albums, limited run vinyl, unique posters, bumper stickers, magnets, on and on and on. Creative items unique to your brand. Pair your merch with Patreon or crowdfunding campaigns or even behind-the-scenes content for superfans. These aren't just income streams, they're community builders. They can also bring in hundreds or even thousands of dollars each year. We've already covered why streaming isn't the main hustle, but you could still make it a part of your revenue strategy. Aim for consistent but realistic streaming goals. Say 20,000 monthly streams, which would equal maybe $50 to $100 a month, and that could bring you in $2,500 to $5,000 a year. Use platforms like Bandcamp and sell digital downloads. You can get $1 a song or even more for full albums, for example. And that works best when you promote it directly to your fans. Treat streaming as marketing fuel that pushes people toward your gigs and your merch and teaching offers. Now, there are even more ideas worth exploring that I have honestly no experience with, but it'll pay off to learn more and be aware and try new things. So stay current with technology. See how you can find your own niche. Here's the big picture. You don't need millions of streams. You need 10 gigs, 10 paying opportunities at all times, and a plan for the next 10 after that. Play live, teach, produce, sell beats, move merch, license your work, stack the streams as a bonus. Piece by piece, those numbers really will build into something real. And when you start treating your music like both a craft and a business, you're going to realize that you don't need that backup plan. Music is the plan. You could make $80,000 annually or more by following the strategy. So I hope this inspired you to think bigger about what's possible. If you found this valuable, hit that like button. It helps my channel grow. And one more thing, less than half of my regular viewers are subscribed, and if that's you, do me a favor and hit that button. It's free, it takes 2 seconds, and it makes sure that you don't miss future videos. Until the next video, dream big and create boldly.